Hello, Midofapa. Welcome to Aftrad Village Kitchen channel and welcome to 2025. Just to let you know, just in case you are not a Ghanaian, Midofapa means dear one. Okay, so I do refer to my community, my tribes as Midofapa. So when I say Midofapa, it means dear one, loved one. So I hope your 2024 was fantastic, challenging. No one should ever say it was terribly bad or it was bad. Each year brings us new experiences, new challenges. And if you're in that frame of mind that every setback, challenge, whatever comes your way that is negative, you see it as a learning experience and it's just a challenge for the next step ahead of your life story, you will not call it bad. So I'm not calling it bad. And yes, I had a mixed bag of things for 2024, but I'm so glad that the year also taught me a lot of things. And I'm ready to take on 2025, having learned from the experiences and having joy that there's so much ahead. So I hope you feel the same way. I'm wishing you a prosperous, healthy, and wonderful new year filled with blessings. 2025 will be your best year yet. All right. So today I made some corned beef meat pies. I went live on TikTok. Yes, we are on TikTok. If you do not know, Aftrad Village Kitchen is on TikTok, so you can follow us, right? So I made this live on TikTok and I saved the video. So if you are figuring that, oh, this video looks a bit funny with the orientation of things, yes, it's because of the TikTok live and how the camera was positioned. So some things may look not in the right position. This meat pie recipe also turned out to be excellent. It was delicious. My 7-year-old son actually said, Mom, the crust, he used another word instead of the pie crust, is just really nice. And I thought, yes, I tried this. I went live. I like doing things like this. I was doing this recipe. I thought, I'm going to add a twist to it today. Let me go live on TikTok. Yes, that's how confident I am sometimes. So this was a new twist to my usual recipe. And he commented that the crust was really delicious. So I thought I would share this recipe with you. So the twist to this recipe is what you're seeing right here. This is my green seasoning that I have shared on the YouTube channel many times. And I thought I will add some of that. I prepared it the day before. So I added a tablespoon to the pastry so that it will bring the onion, herb. It has garlic, it has ginger. You find the recipe on the YouTube channel. So, check it out. And I'll have this recipe also on the website so that you can refer to it and make the exact same recipe with measurements. If you're still watching this video, thank you for sitting tight because this video, pre-warning, is a long one. It's a 40 plus minutes long. It is a long one. I thought I would do this long form video to have a chit chat with my tribes, with my community, because your girl has been hiatus for a while. I've been consistently inconsistent. I come on for some couple of weeks at a time with videos hitting you here and there, and then I'm off for a long time. So I thought I need to give you some explanation so that you understand why that is happening. I can't promise to do so much better, but I am trying to do better in 2025. So hence this long video and hence this long chat, okay? So that you know where I am. And then once you know where I am, you can reason with me and level up with me. If you're new to this channel, Aftrad Village Kitchen, I am Joanna, the girl behind Aftrad Village Kitchen, the brainchild of Aftrad Village Kitchen. So I'm just like you. I'm just like your sister, your friend, anybody that you know, or maybe yourself, who is trying to, live a normal life, live their dreams, live out their purpose and vision, right? And being faced with everyday challenges. I'm not that superwoman. I mean, we need to make it clear. Social media these days is making it seem as if some people are superhuman beings. They are constantly on social media with content. You have no idea what their real life is like. So we tend to think that, hey, they are doing it, we can do it. Yes, that can be done it can be done. I won't say it cannot be done. And for it to create that impression that, hey, you are constantly in that happy mood, in that superhero mood. But I also feel that we need to calm down to reality and let people know that there are some real lives happening behind all of that. And for me, I'm not here to show my superhuman self. I'm here to show who I am as I am. And it comes with the challenges in life. It comes with the successes. Everything that you would experience, I experience. We have different levels of the experience, but yes. So I'm Joanna, the brainchild behind After Village Kitchen. I set up After Village Kitchen YouTube channel for one or two reasons. So let me give you a background history. So I migrated to the UK from Ghana some 20 plus years ago. And as a professional, so professionally, I am an engineer, professionally trained engineer. Came in as a professional, did some odd jobs here and there before I landed my professional job in the engineering field. And I quickly realized how busy life can be, especially when I started having young children, having my own children. And also how, when I started having my young children, how I wanted to preserve my identity and pass on my identity to my children. Because one thing I have realized, that if you know who you are, when you have your identity, nobody can shake you. You stand firm in your identity, in your purpose, because you know who you are, you know who you stand for, right? And it's very important for us as human beings to have an identity that we identify with. So I'm also an Ashanti, and recently, I think in 2024, close to the end, Otumfuo was celebrating a lot of things, 100 years of Krempe, the first and the second. Actually, he is my great-grandfather, if you care to know. Was celebrating him returning from Seychelles, and them, I follow their page, and they exhibiting the culture of the Ashantis, and I felt so proud. And I was just thinking, why is it that Ashantis feel so proud? And interestingly, some couple of days later, I met this lady, a friend, and we were chatting. And she was like, oh, Ashantis are so proud of themselves. I thought, yeah, I was thinking about this reason, the same issue the other day. And it's interesting she had brought it up. So I said, well, having thought about it, I realized that the Ashantis know who they are. If you're Ghanaian and you grew up in Ghana, you know that at some point, growing up, people will fight and say that, they'll say things like, hey, do you know who I am? Do you know which house I come from? Do you know my background? That kind of thing. It's because They knew who they are. They knew the family that they came from. They knew their identity. They related to it, and they felt confident, secure in that identity. And that is how the Ashantis feel like. We exhibit our culture. We are proud of it. We are not ashamed to exhibit it. And it's known worldwide. Globally, people see the Ashanti culture, which we exhibit beautifully. And being an Ashanti, you feel proud that you are part of this tribe, you are part of this community, and you want to be an Ashanti, and you are an Ashanti. And in that same sense, I felt I needed to pass on that identity, the traditions, the culture to my kids. And it will benefit others as well, because in conversations with friends, I realized that they all kind of were lamenting about the same things. And around that time, some couple of years ago, there were a lot of stabbings of black children, particularly black boys. And I felt that these boys did not value life. They did not. Most of them were West Africans as well. They did not value who they were, because they were born here, first generation, second generation West Africans probably. And they could not really connect with the identity here. Neither could they connect with the identity back home. So they needed something to cling to. They needed something to help them identify with their background and who they are. And I thought I wanted my kids, especially I had 2 boys at the start, and I have 3 boys now, no girls. So I felt I needed to start something for myself, to benefit my family, and to benefit others. So that's how I started After Village Kitchen. One of the reasons for people to connect with their identity through the food, because I also haven't traveled and lived in other parts of the world. I did realize that when the African community gathered, it was all about the food, the traditional foods. That was all that we were talking about, eating, and it made us happy. Plus, the children who could speak very little of the language, their mother tongue, knew a bit of the culture because of these community gatherings and because of the food. They were constantly eating the food. So why not? It's through the food that we eat and we crave for when we are out of the home country, which brings us together and which gives us the identity. So a starting point for us to have these conversations is through the food. So, and I also wanted to preserve the recipes, because one of the things that, having migrated into the UK and starting a family, my own, getting married, my own home, and I wanted to recreate some of the dishes that my mom used to make for us, and dishes that I was craving, the street food that I was craving so badly. And I couldn't get the recipes. One, my mom was no longer alive, so I couldn't contact her for those recipes. And then I had not cooked. For some good couple of years, I was focused on my studies, so I had not recreated these dishes, so I couldn't remember the recipes. And back home, recipes were handed down, right? So yes, plus we used, even when we used some measurements, it was like olonka, and you're like margarine tin, blue band margarine. For those of you who remember, I think I'm telling my age by now. Olonka, blue band margarine tin, we used to use for our cake measurements and all of that. So it was difficult to recreate some recipes, and I needed to document some of these recipes, formulate proper recipes with measurements to some of these dishes. So that's how I started After Village Kitchen, on these bases. And also being a professional in this UK with no help, and you had only the weekend to get yourself together, and with so many activities occupying the weekend, and you wanted to eat healthily, you wanted to eat your food, there were some processes that you could not start from scratch. I needed to find some ingredients. That's one thing. I could not get hold of some ingredients. I started cutting out stock cubes with MSG. I wanted to use natural ingredients, and I remember that my mom used to use natural herbs and spices in cooking, and I felt if I can cook, I don't need to cook well using stock cubes, a delicious meal using stock cubes. I should be able to cook well with natural herbs and spices. So that was my journey for looking into how healthy and how flavorful our Ghanaian West African spices are. And then also, I'm someone who loves to cook, but I hate all the chopping up, the preparation and all of that. But I also realized that all these preparations is a prerequisite to cooking any meals. It has to be done. So I love finding hacks and tips on how to make life easy in the kitchen. So if you go back to a lot of my videos from when I started, it was more about sharing kitchen hacks, kitchen tips to make cooking in the kitchen really easy, and to help you recreate these well-loved traditional dishes easily. So that is what I am about, and that is what I'm still carrying forward, because I haven't changed. I am who I am. That is my identity. That is the premise for which Aftrad Village Kitchen was born, for reconnection with our identity, for convenience, yes, for quality, and for healthy ingredients. So that's why you will find that Aftrad Village Kitchen products do not contain artificial preservatives, flavors or colors. Everything is as natural as possible. So if you are still watching this video, hey, thank you so much. Hats off to you. Thank you for staying with me. You are the true Aftrad Village Kitchen triber. You are part of this community. You want to be part of this community. I hope that today, as I have shared with you who the person is behind Aftrad Village Kitchen and why Aftrad Village Kitchen exists, you have a better understanding of why you are part of this community, and now you will, link in, tune in. I mean, you will do everything to be part of this community because you know why it exists, who you are, what role you perform within the community. I haven't mentioned what role you perform, but I'm sure you should guess by now. You have some idea of why you have subscribed to this channel or why you have come across this channel. You are looking for some identity. Yes, you are looking for Ghanaian recipes maybe. So that's how you came across this channel. So you do know and have a better understanding why you are here. Okay, so if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. I hope I have given you the reason to subscribe to this channel. Okay, so I have been talking so much that I've not taken you through the recipe. I will put this recipe for corned beef meat pies on the channel for you. So I was making meat pies for my kids to take to school. The new school term is about to start, and usually in the mornings they rush out without eating breakfast, and they may have to wait till lunchtime till they eat some proper food at school. So sometimes I'm always looking for things that would have, like a snack that they can eat in between breakfast and lunch. So I used to buy some beef patties pre-made beef patties for them to take to school. And the other day I decided to read the ingredients on the packaging, and something worried me. I came across an ingredient that they have actually made note and let the public know that this particular, I think it's a food color that they have added to this beef patty, causes the children to lose attention if eaten in large quantities. It's a detriment to their health. So I was like, why do you have to put that in? And I'm buying this on a weekly basis for the kids to take and eat. And my kids can eat like 1 or 2 at a time. Though they say it's in small quantities, it's not good, but incrementally, it affects their attention span. So I was then like, oh gosh, I'm not going to buy this anymore. I'm going to make my own meat pies for the kids to take to school. Yes, sometimes I do not find the time to do it, but for the fact that it's whatever it's in that patty will make my kids ill at some point, I need to do my best to make meat pies and freeze them so that the kids have something to use, because what we buy is frozen and I can't put it in the freezer and they defrost it and take it to school. So we'll do the same, because I know how to make meat pies, and I can make different versions. Like today I decided to make the corned beef version. Sometimes I make them with beef or lamb. Sausages too. Sometimes I do make a tuna. So in this video, actually, I was making the corned beef meat pies, but I ran out of the corned beef sauce. So I went ahead to make some tuna version. And also I still had a little bit of pastry left, and I added some sausage. So you continue watching, you see everything, you see the whole process. I think without me going through the step by step, you get the idea of how to remake it. It's really, really easy. Plus, the recipe will be on the channel for you. So, back to this beef patties, I did realize that, hey, I better make my own for the kids. Okay, it is time consuming. Making meat pies is time consuming, but it is worth it. I will encourage you to read ingredients on packaging so that you know exactly what you are feeding your kids, okay, or your family. It's not every single product that contains ingredients which are detrimental to your health, but be aware of what you are feeding your family. All right, let's say they said in small quantities it is okay, but sometimes we are overeating the stuff, so it's incremental. You're thinking, oh, it's in small quantity, but you're eating more than you should, and then it becomes too much, and that's when the side effects kick in. All right, so this pie, I made it with flour, plain flour, butter. So my ratio of flour to butter is 1 part butter to 3 parts flour, and it gave the best. It is the best ratio that you would get the nice crumbly texture. And like I said before at the beginning, I added in the green seasoning, which is a new one for me, and it's made that you could barely taste it because it was just a tablespoon for a 1.5 kg flour. So you could barely taste it, but you knew that you could taste the richness of the pastry, and it was really nice. And then I made the corned beef sauce, which was really, really simple. Corned beef in itself is very flavorful, so all I needed was onions, to saute onions with a bit of spice blend. So I used a 10 spice blend to season the onions and saute it, and then added in the corned beef without any salt. So I'm on a low salt diet, so I don't add salt unnecessarily. I add salt at the end if it's needed, and there was no salt needed. I did add salt to the pastry dough, just a tiny bit to bring that flavor out. And that was it really. And the hard bit to make this pie was the molding. And the molding, using these molds here, made it really easy. Before these molds, hey, this was the part that I dreaded the most. But using these molds made it really, really easy. You see that I'm using 2 sizes of the molds because I found that when I use the bigger mold to cut the circles, and then I mold the pie in a smaller one, it comes out beautiful. So that's one trick I found using these molds, and it works. So you can also do the same. And yes, I brushed it with some egg wash. So with my egg wash, it was just egg and a splash of water, and then whisked it, and then use that to brush the top off the pies before they went into the oven, which was set at 200 degrees Celsius, 180 to 200 degrees Celsius temperature. Other points you should take note when making the dough is also not to overwork the dough. Okay, so you see that I divided the dough into 4 parts at the start, and then I started working on one dough. So the other 3 were in the fridge. So all 4 parts were in the fridge whilst I worked on the filling. And then when I was ready to mold, I brought 1 part out. And with that 1 part too, I split it up into smaller pieces to work with so that I'm not overworking the dough. And the reason why I also used the stand mixer at the start, the K-mix that I have has an attachment that helps to distribute butter in flour, so that your hands are not overworking the dough. So that's why I used that. The machine was struggling, if you noticed at the start of the video, because I had put too much more than it can actually handle in there to work it. But it did give me that pastry breadcrumb texture without actually using my hands to work it. So if you have a stand mixer with that kind of attachment, do use it. It makes your life really easy. Okay, otherwise you have to use your fingers to make that crumbly breadcrumb like texture with the butter and the flour. And then I also used a bit of very, very cold water. So in my water that I added to the dough, I had ice cubes in there. So if you did notice at the start of the video, I kept taking out the ice would always will fall in the dough as I poured the water, because the water was still very, very, was icy cold. So I would take out the ice and put it back in the jug, if you noticed. So use very, very icy cold water to mix the dough, and very little at a time. With this ratio of flour and butter, you perhaps don't need any water, but just a little bit will bring the dough together. So some couple of tablespoons of icy cold water brings the dough together. All right. And I kept it in the fridge whilst I worked on the others. And I worked with small portions so that it doesn't make, if you overwork the dough, your dough becomes tough. You don't get that crumbly crust, pie crust, the short crust. You don't get it. It becomes stretchy like bread. You don't want that. Well, some people prefer pie like that. So if you prefer it that way, that's fine. But if you're after that short crust pastry pie, very little working with the dough as much as possible. And yes, take note of all those points I've given with the icy cold water, the flour to butter ratio, and you are good. Okay, I hope you are enjoying this long form. Do let me know if you like this type of video. I may make more of it if the response is good, or if I'm led in the spirit to do it, because hey, I'm here to do me. I think if you go back and watch my earlier first couple of videos, it was really long. Yes, it was long because one, I was new on YouTube. I had never watched YouTube videos before, but I was here to share my passion. That is what I want to do, to teach people and to share my tips for free. And I was just doing it, and there was a backlash for creating long videos. And then when I sat to people actually told me to go and watch other people's videos. Yes, that's how the backlash was like. But it's all good. So I went to watch and saw that, okay, there are long form, short form. Even the long form is really, really short. So, and then there was no time for me to be doing these long videos, so everything started getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and down to from 60 minutes long videos to like 60 seconds videos. But hey, we've tried them all these combinations. You let me know. I mean, you are the community. You are giving me the feedback. Let me know what you like. I like to do a mix here and there. I love this long form stew. It takes a lot of time doing the videos, and then also editing the videos, right? And then doing the voiceovers. So it takes a while, but I love it. I love it because I'm able to then teach and impart a bit more rather than these short videos. So let me know, okay? I'm happy to do what you want as well, okay? We are working together. A relationship will not work when it's only one way. It has to be both ways, all right? Okay, so here, like I said before, I ran out of the combi filling. So I went and I had quite a bit of pastry dough left. So I went ahead to make a tuna filling. And this tuna filling, I had tried it some time before. And this tuna filling, I had made it with After Village Kitchen's tomato sauce, because it just makes it so quick. All I needed again was to saute my onions. I didn't, and then add some 10 spice blend just to season the onions, and then add in the tuna. I also used a bit of the tuna oil to saute the onions. That is the tuna oil that I used to saute the onions. And then I added in the After Village Kitchen's tomato sauce, which is basically the West African tomato stew we use which is the base for most of our stews, and then the base for our jollof rice. So 2 tablespoons in here made it really nice. So I used 2 cans of tuna and added in 2 to 3 tablespoons of the tomato sauce, the After Village Kitchen's tomato sauce, not tomato ketchup, please. No. The After Village Kitchen's tomato sauce is quite like a paste, very thick, flavorful, and very concentrated in flavors. So I didn't need so much to make this filling, tuna filling, flavorful, and it was very, very quick as well. So the first time I made this filling, I didn't let the tomato sauce be a lot, because I felt I'm going for a pie. I don't really like stew filling pie. But I felt my kids were like, they didn't want the tuna pie. They refused to eat the tuna pie, and they are very critical of my food, and I listened to their feedback. So this time around, I thought, okay, I'll make the sauce a little bit more so it's more moist. So I added just a little bit more, and the feedback this time, they even ate it without asking, what filling is this, right? So it tells me that it was really, really nice, and from henceforth, that's how I'm going to make it. So you'll see how the filling looks like once it is done. I hope you will give this recipe a try. And as always, I love to have your feedback because, hey, you cannot please everybody. At the same time, too, you need the feedback to improve, right? So I always welcome whatever kind of feedback. Just know how to deliver a negative feedback if there is one. So at the start of the video, I promised to let you know why I'm on and off creating content on YouTube, and I think mostly across social media these days. Okay, I hope you will pardon me and I hope you understand, and I hope giving you this explanation will help you connect with this channel. And once I'm on here, any content that I put on here, my goodness, I'm going to see so much connection, engagement with you, because that really encourages me. You see, when the life challenges hit you hard and you cannot do all, you need something to fall back on and to hold on to. Okay, so when I started After Village Kitchen, this year actually marks 10 years of actually doing something about that vision that God had given me, and the dream I wanted for this business to vision and how things should pan out. It was 2015 when I actually started doing something about it. And since doing something about it, it's been about 10 years. This year marks 10 years. So I have a lot to celebrate this year. It hasn't been an easy journey. When I started, my eldest was about 4 years old. And my second child was about 2 then. And I thought at that time life was tough because I had also then taken a career break to give them the attention that they needed, because 2 professionals working here in UK, it's not easy. I was basically working to use my salary to pay someone else to look after my kids, and it wasn't going well. So I decided to step back, look after the kids. I remember crying when I was telling my manager that I wanted to take a break and look after my kids, and he was like, "Oh, you can take 6 months off and then come back, do flexible working." They were giving me all these options, and it made me sad because I loved my job as well. But I knew something had to go for now at that time. So I let that go and I focused on the kids, and then I was building After Village Kitchen because it was the chance for me to build After Village Kitchen. So I was doing my best. I had no clue about this food business in the UK. All I had was the passion to teach, to help people identify and also and reconnect with their identity, and also to bring out those products that I was wishing I had at that time, and to promote the traditions and culture of my motherland. Okay, so then I thought it was difficult, but then looking back, I was able to do more. Yes, then I didn't have the business as it is now. So it was more of content creation and me doing the research to build a business. So I guess I had time to create the content, right? And I was working on my own. I'm still working on my own though, again, it's been years. I was hoping that it wouldn't be how it is now. I'm praying that 2015, I'll get more hands on deck. Pray for me. It is not easy as it looks. I'll stress on that. So pray for me if you want to see our culture being brought to those of us in the diaspora in a very good light. Yes, our traditions and culture in the proper way. Pray for me. So it was somehow I managed to be, especially on Instagram, constantly. But as the business grew and there was the demand for production, different aspects of the business needed attention, it became hard. My first love is to teach people how to cook. I love cooking. to share my kitchen tips. That is my first love for this business. But for me to be able to run this business and be able to give out these things freely, sometimes different aspects of the business is competing for attention. So when the other side gets too hard, something has to go, and that is the content creation. So that is why you find that sometimes I am off for a long time. It doesn't mean that I'm not working. I'm working on the business, but that side of the business is taking too much of my time, and I'm struggling to do the content creation. I wish I can hand it over. I wish I have more people to help. But if you're in the UK, you know that it is not that easy and cheap. Okay, so to be able to grow the business, we have to go one step at a time. We have to learn how to crawl, walk, and then run. But I also need your help to be able to, when a baby starts crawling, they do that by themselves. When they start walking, lifting themselves up, sometimes we give them a hand. And it's the same way at this moment in time, I'm at that stage where I am walking, okay? And I need the community to help me by holding my hand. And that holding my hand is the support. And that support can come in the way of engaging with the videos, liking, commenting to help the algorithm show our videos to more people who need this kind of videos. And also supporting through purchasing of our products, because we've brought quality stuff. It is not easy developing these recipes that contains no artificial preservatives. Trust me, why haven't people done it before, right? Commercially, why haven't people done it before? So when we put in the time and we do this, I need that support from the community to buy the product so that we can keep the business going, basically. And support in various ways. So if you haven't connected with us on all social media platforms, please do. TikTok, we are there. Facebook, we are there. Facebook was the first place we were. And then we went to Instagram. We see a massive engagement and support on Instagram. But now we need that support back. So we are claiming it back in 2025. And also, with the purchases, thank you so much. You people have been fantastic, but we need more. We need more of you to tune in and to support in various ways. All right. So this video has been a long one. I've done a lot of talking. I can feel my cheeks hurting already. Do let me know if you like this kind of videos. I have a lot to share. This journey of 10 years doing food business with a no food business background, apart from my love for cooking and a little business acumen here and there, doing business in the UK is a different level. Sometimes I'm like, if I was back in Ghana, this business would have gained ground and it would be flying by now. But every experience is good, and I'm so grateful for this experience I've had here in the UK. So I have a lot of experience to share. I know there are people who are behind the scenes who are watching my progress. They are not engaging though, but they are watching the progress, and sometimes I see them trying to tap into some of the ideas and run with it, but it is not easy. So I wish them luck. They can continue. Everybody has their journey. Again, back to the identity. You should know who you are. You should know what God has put you here on this earth to do. If you go off that path and you try to take someone's path and run with it or fly with it, you may come down very soon. So stay in your lane, know your identity, right? And connect with people who may help you fly or help you along your journey to be the best. I hope you will be that kind of support to me as well, as I try to build something not just for me, but for diasporans and our generations that we are going to build here in the diaspora. I hope you have loved this. If you have not connected by subscribing, I hope today you will subscribe, and then you give me a thumbs up. You will comment. I love to read your comments as well. I'm very quick in responding. If you've commented, you know that I'm very quick with responding, because I do appreciate that people watch and then they take their time to respond. So thank you so much. And you are going to try this recipe, I know for sure, because hey, it was delicious. Delicious recipe, this one. I couldn't resist but to eat the delicious recipe when it was piping hot. Hey, my mouth was burnt, but it was delicious. Anyway, thank you for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe.